No, Oilers man is in the house. Hello, everybody. It's the Pearlo Wisdom Show. And we have a special guest today. Steele is in the house.
Hey. How's it
No.
going? How's it going?
Right on, buddy. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
Oilers
Oh,
man is
gosh.
here. I don't know who else is in here, but awesome to have you. So I think I screwed them up because I started a stream and then stopped it again. So they'll be back. There we go. CL's in the house. So what you gotta?
I had to leave and come back and whatever, and so whatever.
Yeah.
So, but how you doing, man? How was your? Did you have a good New Year? Everything good?
Oh yeah, we were quiet. I went to bed early and I got up and went to the gym and stuff like that. I just took her easy at home with the fam, but it was nice. It was really nice.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I am so glad to hear that. That's really awesome. Let me see if I get this straight now. You did receive your package, yes?
Oh, for Manscaped? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
We got her. Yeah. Everybody in the
All right.
everybody in here is doing is going over there to Pearlo Dance and our promo coding Pearlo Dance and all that stuff like that. Right?
Awesome sauce.
Right, everybody? We all know that.
Right, there you go. I think they're saying that you need to adjust my
Oh, echo.
microphone.
Mm-hmm.
No, not an echo, just that my mic is low.
Yours is low, really?
That's what it says. Hopefully, it looks kind of blurry too. It's all right.
That's all right. It could be just catching
There you
up,
go.
you
Now
know.
you got it. You should be good.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Groovy. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Pearlo. Man, this is great, man. I'm so glad to. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I couldn't wait to do this, man, because I really miss doing this. Like, I took the day off to do a bunch of other stuff around the house and everything. So there you go. All right. Kyle in the house, John in the house, CL, Lauren in the house, Oilers, man. Yeah, all right. Welcome. Thank you for having
I'm gonna
me.
have to get another private jet if these people keep on coming in like this. Another jet Frolic to go around and get everybody.
Hey, man, whatever we need to do, right?
Yeah, so you get that one, you get that ordered up there, big guy, and
You got it.
yeah, the jet Frolic.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
There you go.
Sorts is out.
Hockey News Reports is in. Yeah, all
Oh
right.
wow, H&R's
So
early today. Wow, cool.
cool. There's a full slate of games,
There's a crap
and
load to talk
I'll
about.
tell you,
Just throw whatever you want. There's
uh,
tons.
exactly. And man, we had an awesome session. I just have to say this because we had a great session last night with on the Hockey Writers Inc. with Lance Green, and we had Joe on.
Oh, cool.
Oh man, Perlo, I'm here to tell you, buddy. It was just really awesome, man. It was just really cool. We talked about basically rebuilding the Flyers from the ground up. I mean, from ownership down, right? Okay. So I have become the de facto owner.
Okay.
And Lance, the writer extraordinaire, has become the GM, and then we brought Joe in to be the assistant GM, right? And we threw like a whole bunch of coaches and stuff that we think we want to try and do to get the ball rolling, right? So it's an ongoing series. It was just really fun to talk about doing something like that to a team that I think really needs it. And with all the stuff that's going on with the NHL right now, with all the COVID games being postponed, all the Canada games being rearranged and stuff like that because they're worried about revenue, which rightly so. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I can't deny that, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But gosh, it's and then now we finally we're getting hockey back. You know, after we had this big giant break, now it's like, hey, hockey game's back. All right, hockey game's back. And Cindy, Crosby getting bloody.
Yeah.
It's a good day to be a hockey fan.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're going to feel so much that way after tonight, though.
Yeah, no, I know. Because let's face it, Pittsburgh on a 9-game win streak. Crosby's on what a 6-game point streak. He scored his 5th goal or 6th goal last night. He had some helpers. He was looked back to form as far as what's going on with him. Pittsburgh looks like they're rolling in all cylinders. You know what I mean? So, what? Islanders have dropped off. Pittsburgh has stepped up. Washington's there, right? Boston kind of, we're waiting to see what's going to happen with Boston. Philadelphia is completely fallen off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? So what else you got?
Yeah, there's well, Philadelphia is it's funny. We said that was going to be the most competitive division, but it's really not.
Yeah, right. It's really
pretty
not.
much everybody that's in there is going to be in there. The Islanders, I still say the Islanders. You never know with Trotz built. They could go on a run. They got a lot of home games coming up.
That's true.
They got a lot of home games coming up, of course, because they were on the road for the first part of the season. And, goaltending, it hasn't been spectacular. That could get better. I think the Islanders could do it. But besides that, that's everybody. I don't think I thought New Jersey would be better than they were. My biggest flub prediction before the season was Bernier, who has been injured the whole time. So
yeah.
But pretty to play won't be pretty, but finally excuse to play York and Zamula. Yeah, you might as well throw them in there. York was probably one of the best guys on the ice against Anaheim. That was Anaheim, right? Yeah, he was one of the best guys on the ice.
Yep.
Like we've said this several times that every time I have personally saw York, he's played way better. Like he's looked like he's improved far more than I ever thought he would. So,
of course, I mean he's just he's one of those players that's mature beyond his years.
He even looks like
you know what I
right?
mean. Where
he even looks like
he gets the puck on his stick and suddenly the game slows down. Like you see a lot of players like Barkov is that kind of player where the puck comes on his stick and the game slows down. Well, you saw that a lot in Eric Desjardins where the puck would get on his stick and the game would slow down. All the great defensemen, right? That as soon as they get the puck on their stick, they have that calming presence. Like everybody feels okay, this guy has the puck and he's skating it up and he's surveying and he's going to make that first initial great pass.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's a list as long as my arm of defensemen that do that. You know what I mean? And so it would be nice to have some of those guys on the team, no matter who you're talking about, whether it would be Edmonton or Philly or Chicago or San Jose or New Jersey, or pick a team, really.
I'm trying to do both two things at one time. We got to talk about the big story still is Edmonton. Tippett has been Twitter all over the place. He's going to get fired.
Yeah.
I'm doing shorts now. Do you watch those? Check them out.
Yes, I have watched a few of those. Yes, sir, I have. And if you aren't watching them, folks, check them out because Pearlo is the man. That's why he's called the Great Pearlo.
I like doing those. I'm actually doing them during my show now. We come up with something and I do a trade, and then we can all look at it. But I don't know if we won't be able to do that today because we're probably not. But anyways, yeah. So I did a short and it was talking about maybe Tippett is a mad genius. And I've always had this in the back of my mind because I remember in Arizona, he used to do stuff that drove everybody crazy, like all the time. But the fact of the matter is he brought teams that had no business making to the playoffs into the playoffs.
That's true.
And everybody would be everybody hated him. Everybody hated him in Arizona. Like when I talk to Arizona fans all 5 of them, they would.
All 5 of them? Yeah, there's a couple.
There's a couple. At the time, Arizona was just starting out too, right? So it wasn't,
Right.
but they no, seriously, they didn't like him, and they hate him in Edmonton as well, and for reasons that logically make sense. They didn't play. He didn't play Puljujärvi last night. Like, he played him like 12 minutes. By the way,
Yeah.
Peyton on the radio, OGR, after the game review, you got to be watching that, man. There's his Oilers after the game review. You have to watch that freaking stuff. Watch the one from last night where he just loses his mind.
Okay, all right. I haven't watched the one from last night, but every time I haven't wanted to. I've only been sparsely watching the ones lately because what are you guys 2-8-2 now? I believe is what the Oilers are in the last 12 games or something like that. And okay, or it's 2-9-2 now because they lost last night, right?
Right.
Or they lost to Toronto yesterday.
Right.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, man, what's going on with that team, guys? I mean, we thought initially at the beginning of the season they came out all guns blazing and they looked amazing. I mean, Smith looked really good in net, and they actually were playing with some defense and some jump, and they actually came out of the gates flying. And then it was like they kind of just hit a brick wall, and then suddenly not.
Well,
winning. I mean, what's going on up there?
Oilers, man, pretty much gives a pretty good sentiment from what I'm hearing from just about everybody right now in the chat. But okay, here I'm going to play. Maybe I'm playing devil's advocate here. Okay, I did say that what's going on with that team first was, and we said it before the season started, is their defense was terrible on paper. It's terrible on paper.
Oh yeah,
it's still terrible on paper. They have too many guys.
Yeah,
they have too many guys that aren't able to get a puck out of a corner, and it's pretty hard to have a possession game if you can't get possession of the puck. So,
boy, I feel that pain.
Exactly. The Philadelphia Flyers as well. My 2 favorite teams in the league. Anyways, so that was a big start right off the get-go. That was, and it was still a problem while they were winning, and I kept on saying it, and people were like, look at the record, man, look at the record. I go, yeah, but don't you watch the game and get frustrated when every time they lose a battle in the corner, like every freaking time. I counted it one time while I was doing a live show on the Oilers. I actually counted the amount of times that they won compared to what they lost when there was a battle in the corner in the defensive zone, and it was like 8-2 they lost. 8 times they lost, 2 times they won a battle in the corner.
Yeah, so right.
That's going to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, just slightly.
And then, of course, their bottom 6 is porous. They can't. They're not getting
once
any
you get
goals.
Past McDavid and Draisaitl.
Well, yeah, but they're specifically their bottom 6. So there's some things that are happening that Tippett is doing that drives people crazy. Let me bring up the Edmonton Oilers here. But I actually kind of understand what he's doing because this team needs to compete, and that includes okay, you're not going to be. You don't have players that are very good at getting the puck out of the corners. That doesn't mean you can't get better at it. They got to get better at it.
Well, you don't have to shut it down.
You got to give up the body, man. You got to get in there, and I know that's not something you've done before, but you are who we got. You got to start doing it. So he plays guys like Devin Shore, who is not probably skilled enough to be in the NHL, honestly, for pure skill. He's not, right? So he ends up playing them ahead of a lot of guys and giving them minutes, and he's out in the ice in certain situations when other players would like to be there. And you wonder why. Well, one reason why is Devin Shore will take a hit to make a play. And he will...
See, exactly.
That's the thing. And he's like, you know what? All of you guys... It don't matter if you're not going to take a hit to make a play. It doesn't matter what we do from here. It doesn't matter how much skill we have, how skilled you are. It doesn't matter. We're going nowhere if you don't fix. So he's going to say, I'm going to play the guys that are willing to take a hit to make a play. And I don't care if we lose because we're not going to really win until you guys start doing it. So you're sitting on the bench and I'm playing the guys, I don't care what your skill level is, that are willing to take a hit to make a play. And that's what he's doing right now. That I don't mind. I know it drives Peyton crazy. He's an analytics guy. Devin Shore's analytics are terrible. Right?
I love watching him just to see that vein in his neck stick. I'm sorry. I know that's bad. But
so anyways, that's what he's doing there.
But he has every right, though. He has every right because, yeah, exactly. His analytics are
terrible.
crap.
They're terrible. And there's other guys like Pulya Harvey didn't get a lot of minutes last night. I'm pretty sure that's probably because he faded a check in the corner. Pulya Harvey's pretty good with the stick, but he's probably faded a check or two in the corner. So he said, I told you, you're not willing to take a hit. You're not going to play. I don't care who you are. Could be frickin' McDavid, I think. I don't know. But he generally, McDavid will. So, and he's got the skill that he doesn't have to. So basically, I think Tippett is saying is, okay, you don't even have to take a hit to make the play, but you got to get the puck out of the corner any way you can. There's lots of guys that never did that, but still got good at it. So I don't even mind that. My problem with Tippett was that he was looking like a whiny, naggy old man, and he was sucking the energy out of that room. That's what it seemed like it was to me.
Yeah.
And when Samorukov, a rookie kid, they played. He wasn't ready to play in the NHL that game. I know he wasn't, and so does pretty much and Dave Tippett does too. He made two mistakes early. He brought his fiance from Russia for that game. Okay. Brought his fiance from Russia for that game. And Tippett pasted him after 5 minutes of the first period, he never saw ice time after that. Now, the kid will probably be all right, but you know how much that is awkward for the team that's playing there? And you got to work with I just think it's a terrible move. What do you think about that?
That doesn't seem like a very classy move. You know what I mean? Like, that just... okay, look. I'm always going to try to be for the player. Okay, no matter what. I'm always going to try to give the player the benefit of the doubt for the most part until I hear otherwise. And I usually try to do that with most sides of every story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't really know the full situation here, but I'm of the ilk like this. And I think you'll agree with me on this one, Pearlo. We're kind of cut from the same cloth here, and that's this. If you are not playing well, then what are you doing on the ice? Okay? And if the coach is going to be that kind of guy where if you're not playing well, he's not going to play you, and now suddenly people are getting all upset because they think somebody should be out there playing when they're not playing very well. I mean, you get what I'm saying, though, right? So if that's the case, then the coach has every right to bench somebody who's not playing. And sometimes a player needs that kick in the pants.
Yeah. I would agree
sometimes.
In certain situations, but I don't
you know,
in this one. You could have benched him.
Okay, so that's what I mean.
Put him out again, and said, "Hey, kid,"
and then
go out there for
try a little better
penalty kill and try to block some shots or whatever. Personally, sometimes things matter more than winning that one particular game. Like it's just it would when I played, if I would have saw that situation, I would have lost respect for the coach for that. But on the same note, the only thing I would say that could be, there would be a mulligan on that. Like maybe, like you said, we don't know the whole story. It could be possible that Tippett said beforehand the game, I don't know if it's a very good idea to bring your fiance in for this one. because I might not be able to use you very
Maybe.
much. So if that was vocalized, then okay, whatever. Because he did make two
Right.
nervous mistakes. So now he's scared to put him
Yeah.
back out again. Why wouldn't you just wait till the first period, talk to him afterwards and say, look, I don't want to bench you the whole game. Are you calm down now? Can you relax? Just go out and have fun. There's nothing like this isn't the end of the world for you. You're going to go back down. We know you're going to be a great defenseman for us. All of those sort of things like that. Just chill out, go out, have a good time. Whatever happens, happens. You go back to the AHL probably afterwards anyways because we can't use you. Should just have fun, right? Maybe something like that.
Right.
Like you said, I don't know the whole situation. And it's possible that maybe Samorukov said something disrespectful to the coach. Then it's a completely different story too. But I doubt.
See, that's what I mean. Right, but see, and we without knowing the exact full story, and so that's why sometimes now. But here's the problem, though. See, right? It's like you can't give the coach the benefit of the doubt because he's been making some bad decisions with who he's been putting out on the ice, when he's been putting them out on the ice, and blah 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 blah, and everything else. So now it's like it's already muddy waters, and you're trying to clean it up by trying to make an example of somebody, and yet you, as the coach or the leader, have made mistakes too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to bring that up to you, but yeah, there are a lot of factors we don't know. But going by the reaction I saw on the bench that game, I would say Tippett just really didn't do the right thing there because the players looked awkward for the whole game. It looked like a very awkward thing.
Okay, so that's something there too. Like if the players look awkward, that means that it wasn't talked about or planned or anything like that, and that was an on-the-fly decision that he made that probably should have not have been done.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But hey, what do we know? All we know is that we see it from here.
That's right. Yeah.
We're not on the bench. We're not sitting back
I'm just
there.
making
We're not.
An educated guess based on it's a guess, but educated guess based on what I saw on the bench and what was happening at that. And
exactly,
it was after that. Not okay. They lost that game and then went in the tank after that. So that I mean, kind of they haven't won since that game. So
well, that's kind of a telling point, I would say.
So I don't know. Okay, but the whole thing was I thought maybe he was like there's a mad genius to him, and there are coaches that coach that way, and people don't like it. But what happens is like a guy like Dave Tippett, what he'll do, and somebody mentioned it here, and they don't like him. Mike Keenan used to do it more than anyone. In fact, he was vocal about it. I think Tortorella sort of does it too. But what they do is they create adversity through the season to keep the players from being to give them challenges to get over as they go through the season to prepare them. A guy who has learned how to do that is Cooper. Cooper does it now. Ever since they lost to Columbus, he changed his game. Because when they won that year, Cooper was the nice guy. He was like the science teacher that everybody loves. And you know what I mean? Like that kind of guy. Yeah? Everybody loves. And everybody loves Cooper. And then it got down to the nitty gritty. And they were winning every game, but going through no adversity whatsoever. And as soon as adversity crept up, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that to me, I mean, that to me is a sign of bad coaching. If you come up against adversity and you don't have a clue as to what's going on how to adjust with that adversity, I mean, to me, that is the sign of a good coach. When you're able to ride out those waves of adversity. How do you handle when the chips are down? Okay, it's all fine and great when everybody's scoring and the goalie's making saves and you guys are winning and everything's great. But what happens when you're not? When you're losing, when the goalie's not making saves, when you're not scoring the goals, when you're not making the plays in the corners, when your guys are getting benched, and now what? How are you now? How do you react now when you're not winning, when you're not on top, when you're, this is kind of what you're seeing with, say, like a team like Philadelphia, where quite honestly, I don't think there's really much hope there for this season, much less anything after this season, because the picture just doesn't get any rosier. You know what I mean? With the contracts looming that need to be re-signed and or whatever the case is going on, and then the whole question marks with Giroux and blah, blah, blah. And, so that's a team definitely on the downward, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I don't want to beat the same. I didn't like the Hextall fire and still don't. So that's. I liked what he was doing there. He was riding it out. He was riding it out so the Giroux contracts were at a place where you could either buy it out or trade them. He was going to get draft picks for them, and he was going to keep on moving on from that. It was going to take a while, and nobody liked it, but it was what they had. I believe it was what they need to do, and it's what they're going to do anyways. They better.
Right. Now, my only problem,
because if they don't, then we're in trouble for a long time.
My only problem was his lack of draft abilities. The players that he drafted are not even remotely close to being NHL ready players by any stretch of the word. Whereas the current general manager has drafted players much better in the later rounds that are more NHL ready prospects and more ready to take the ice compared to the players that Hextall picked.
Hextall doesn't pick them, though. Most of the time, like, general managers get far too much credit for drafting because they don't really. They listen to what their scouts did. Did Chuck Fletcher bring in new scouting? I don't even know that. If it's the same scouts, then I personally am not. I remember I liked Helge Grans when they picked Forster, so we'll see how that works. He's doing really good in Sweden right now.
I'm with you.
So we'll see how that works out. But I agree, though. I think one thing that the Flyers organization, and you could put Hextall still is a guy he's the head of all this, right? I think they went a little crazy with, the league is getting smaller and faster now. I think they went a little crazy with that, and they started draft. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I was talking about with the Hextall picks, where you're seeing. Look, I'm not saying that players that are of that size are not successful in this league. There is a list of guys that are, not exactly the biggest, tallest guys out there that have done very well for themselves in the league. Okay. Marty St. Louis is one guy that comes to mind as somebody that has not been, doesn't stand 6'4", 250 pounds. You know what I mean? Right. So, but to have one or two of those guys is great, but to have a whole entire class of the next wave of players that's coming up for your team being those group of guys that are all that size, 5'8", 5'9", 160, 170, 180 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to be able to get any kind of successful type of offense/defense, anything with any kind of a group of players that are going to come up that are that size.
Well, you can't have because too many small players, no matter how hard they are play or anything like that.
Exactly. Look at the team. You got to go up against the Tampa Bays. You got to go up You got to go up against teams like Montreal. You got to go up against teams like the Islanders. You got to go up against team like Pittsburgh. Boston. All them guys. They all have much larger players. You know what I mean?
Anyway, yes, and okay. So philosophically speaking, from a coaching perspective, what will happen, we'll get back to, you got to have larger players. Like Washington Capitals, for instance. I don't think they draft anybody much unders. They're sprinkled in here and there. Two things with the Washington Capitals
Yeah.
is you have to skate and you got to be as big as you can. You got to do both, though. You can't not be able to skate.
But that's a Laviolette system thing, though, too.
But they didn't build it around Laviolette. It's always been like that. You look at the guys that they brought up, Protas. They
That's
don't
true.
have much skill. They don't
That's
have much
true.
skill. Protas and those guys.
Yeah, they
but
can skate.
Skate, and they're big.
Yeah, they can skate.
And then you teach them how to play the game and try to score the best way they can. And when you get in the playoffs, you know how it is. Scoring is important, but wearing down the opposition is the most important thing. It really is the most important thing in the playoffs. And if you don't have the players to do that, I don't care what your skill level is, you're not going to win. And that,
See, that's the perfect point right there, Pearlo. You nailed it right there on the head. When a team is, and we've seen it throughout the entire, the last two Stanley Cup teams, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've been a bigger, faster team to outlast physically the other teams that they've faced to win the cups, to get to where they are. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it makes sense, especially with a team like Tampa Bay and the teams that they're playing, to have a team that's a little bit more physical, a little bit more taller, heavier,
and play that.
You know what I mean? Thicker.
That's the other one. You got to play that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to play that way. But they got small
exactly.
centers. It's probably one of the smallest center groups that ever won a cup. And Point, and Stamkos sort of whatever, but they got small centers, but they got Kaloran, they got big wingers. Palat's more physical than he gets credit for. They went out and got Maroon,
right.
They had Goudreau. They went out and got thick guys that can beat down the opposition. And on the back end, you had lots of guys like that. Like their back end, Hedman, Hughes,
exactly,
McDonough, Chernak. I mean, they got big, solid guys that can wear down the opposition.
So, okay, and then all you have to do is look at what Boston's putting out on the ice, and then all you have to do is look at what Pittsburgh is putting out on the ice, and all you have to do is look at what the rest of the Metropolitan and the rest of the NHL is putting out on the ice. And they're not putting out 5'8", 5'9" guys that are less than 200 pounds. They're just not putting out a whole large group of them. They're just not.
They're small teams. I'd have to think about it, but there might be. But overall, I'm a little worried. Like a team like New Jersey, for instance, they got tons of skill. It's going to be interesting to see what they do because they got some. Their size is not bad, but they haven't learned how to use their size yet. And that's the problem. They're not going to go anywhere until they start doing something like that, like a team like New Jersey. Plus, they've got small centers in Heischer and Hughes. So there's some issue there. We'll see what that happens. But it showed in Tampa Bay that having small centers isn't that big of a deal, because centers really can use their stick. There's a lot of things that they can do if they've got speed and a killer shot. It's nice to have the big center. Don't get me wrong, but you got to have big wingers
right.
that can get the puck. You got to have them.
Exactly. That's it right there. You just see, it's like it's okay to have a group of guys or a couple of guys on the team that are playmakers, but you have to have some guys that are shooters. And you have to have guys that are, willing to be the guy in front of the net. And you need to have a guy that's willing to go to the corners. And you need to have guys that, you can't just have all group of playmakers on the team. You can't just have, you know what I mean? You have to have a mix of playmakers and shooters and stuff like that, because then that makes it, to me, in my opinion, that makes it a much better team. That's why Tampa Bay's and Florida's and Carolinas are of the league right now are just blowing it up because they're just playing that way.
Yeah. I totally agree. So, what was I gonna talk about next? My gosh. I lost my train of thought. Okay, well, we'll go finishing off with Philadelphia. I think I don't know what they're. I know what I know what they have to do, but I have no faith that they're going to do it. You got Chuck Fletcher there for a reason. My feeling is they're just going to keep on banging the same drum. They're just going to be keeping on finding cap room and bringing in a
Okay,
player
what is the
or
line? So now, all right. So here I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna come out and say it right now. What is the line? And I am not a betting man, and I don't
right.
have anything
Yeah.
to do with it. But I would like to know this because you are the prognosticator and you're all about this, and this is what you do, and this is what you're good at. So I would like to know what the line is on Chuck Fletcher being fired or not. I would like to know what the line is on Mike Yeo being hired as coach or
Mike
not.
Yeo is not going to be the coach. I
Because,
would say that the line would be for
okay,
him being coach. You could get really good odds on. You could get really good, not good odds, but high odds on him actually being the coach after the end of the year.
all right, well, I'm going to play prognosticator, okay? And this is what I'm going to say. You are exactly correct, Mr.
Yeah.
Pearlo Wisdom. They are going to
Yep.
beat the drum, the same drum. They are going to keep Chuck Fletcher. They are going to, because it's the safe move, they are going to keep Mike Yeo as the coach, the head coach. Yeah, listen to
Fletcher,
this.
yeah, but Yeo, no.
Hold on,
Okay, keep on
just
going.
hold
Just
on, time
listening
out.
in.
Right. No. I understand. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but I just really feel this is just going to happen because of exactly what you said. The safe move is to say, well, Mike, listen, man, you did a really great job. You with very adverse conditions. There was COVID, there was shutdowns, there was this, there was that. Hey, we'll give you a year or two to try it out and see how you do. Right. That extends Fletcher, right? Because that keeps it safe, right? It gives Fletcher another chance to dig in a little deeper and make it a little worse. I'm telling you right now, mark it down right now. I don't want it. I really would like to see the whole place just start from scratch. Okay, but I really feel that that's what's going to happen. They're going to keep Fletcher because that's the safe move, and they're going to keep Yo because he did a good enough job to earn himself a chance as the head coach. Because I really don't want Rick Tocchet
Well,
as
that's
the
what I
head
was
coach
about
of the
to say.
Philadelphia Flyers.
It's like what we were talking about the Oilers. People were saying, "Oh, they're going to fire Tippett." It won't matter because they're going to hire Babcock. So, like, you might as well just forget. Who cares? Like, they're going to hire Babcock instead, almost guaranteed. Holland, Babcock in the past. Babcock's one of the most overrated coach, maybe the most overrated coach of all time. So if they fired Tippett, that's what they would do. Honestly, I'd rather them keep Tippett. I'd rather keep Tippett and roll the dice that he's a mad genius of some kind, because I would rather do that than take Babcock. Now for Tocchet,
Yeah.
with in this situation where they would do that and grab Tocchet, I don't know if Tocchet knows how to do anything else than have his players collapse around his goalie and block shots and then dump and chase. I don't know. He could, but the Arizona team he had, it was the only way he was going to win is if he did that. So he
Right.
might have been doing the exact right thing that you needed to do for that team, and he may be able to do something different if given the opportunity of having players to do so. So I'm going to hold out judgment on Tocchet. But if he could be anything like, say, Mr. Berube in St. Louis, woo, that would be fantastic. Look what.
Well, we had that. Well, hey, um, I I just don't think that. Quite honestly, there's Paul Maurice is out there. He might be able to be coaxed back. I think Claude Julien is another coach. The only thing though with him is that he doesn't have a good record with trying to go young. You know what I mean? Like, he favors more of the veteran type teams, whereas it's tough for him. He hasn't had a good record of playing the younger players, especially in Boston and then in Montreal. You know what I mean? So, I mean, who else you got else out there? You know what I mean? So that's why I think that, particularly with what you said with Tippett and Edmonton, you might as well just go with the devil you know, I guess, at that point. Right? Because at least you know what to account on with Tippett, right?
Well, I don't. I like I said, as of right now, I think Tippett is a horrible coach. The only reason why he's not a horrible coach, if he's a mad genius. You see what I'm saying? And this happens, that, you know, coaches like that, like people, you can say whatever you want about Mike Keenan. He got a lot out of a lot of teams sometimes, and then he pissed everybody off, and then he lost the room. That's what Mike Keenan would do. Eventually, he would create so much adversity that they finally just got tired of it and said, get rid of this guy. But for short times of periods, he had a okay. I wanted to finish that. I listened to Mike Keenan afterwards, his philosophy on when you hear Mike Keenan say this, it's hard not to agree. But you can also relate to how it's very difficult for players to be able to keep on going like that. He would do things like what Tippett did, where you bench a guy and his family was brought in from wherever it was, and he would bench him and let him sit there for whatever the case till the end of the thing, right? Now, here's the thing: what Keenan would do, he wouldn't say anything to the guy afterwards or whatever, and you go on to the next game. Now, and we talked about this, I think, last time, if the guy went in his office and knocked on the door and was man enough to go in and talk to him, he would then say, about you, like, why did you do that? My family was up there, and no. And Keenan would say, all I care about is how are you going to play tomorrow. That's all I care about. So you don't care about my family? Sure, I care about your family. That has nothing to do with how you're going to play tomorrow.
I mean, what? You can't argue that kind of logic.
So he basically said, do you care about this team enough to put that crap behind you and win tomorrow? Because I'm telling you, when we get in the playoffs, it's a long season. Stuff's going to happen. I need to know you're going to be there no matter what happens to you. So he would create, these adversities, because he goes, I don't want to wait till the playoffs to find out you're going to crumble when things don't go your way. Right? So I'm going to find out now what kind of personality I got on my hands and go from there. And if you're not the personality I want, you don't play. So, and then people would freak out that Mike Keenan didn't play that person or that person or that person, because when he was on the ice, he did this, and this. And Mike Keenan doesn't say it publicly, but within everywhere, he's saying, that guy hasn't shown me that when the chips are down, he's going to be there. So there's no use him being there when the chips aren't. Now, you think everybody thought Mike Keenan was just as crazy, whatever the case may be. But when I say it like that, does that make sense to you?
No, man. See, that's what normal people don't necessarily see. They don't see it like that. They see because they see look, I'm just going to come right out and say it, okay? There's no way to sugarcoat this, okay? Players come out and play the victim. You know, oh, woe is me. I had my family here. I didn't get to play and blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, but why didn't you get to play? And if you didn't play tonight and you're going to get all in a bunch because you didn't play tonight when your family was here, your family isn't going to be here in the next couple of nights when we're playing the next team, right? So now that your family's not in the stands, do you still care about playing now? Right? So I got no problems with that. Zero.
That's what I mean. Like, okay, so let's go back to the Tippett situation. It was awkward for everybody, whatever the case may be, right? But
Yeah.
so what do you
Yeah.
do? But then the thing is he's a rookie, and the reaction on the bench and all that kind of stuff like that. I don't know, but it's possible that he's a mad genius, like because they called him Mad Mike for a reason. Right? He's wait.
Well, it's one of those things, I guess, man. You know what I'm saying? Where it's where it has to be at that specific time and that specific place for that specific situation. And at that specific time, Keenan, that was the right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Look,
But
I'm not trying to say.
Before you go
Yeah,
on,
go ahead.
here's some of the things that he would do. And somebody's saying, scrap the entire team except for Hart, then build around who they get in the 2022 draft. That's what he says that they should do in Philadelphia.
Lauren, hey, listen, Lauren, I'm going to tell you something here real quick, and I hate to interrupt this really. Tonight, here in a little bit, I believe at 5 o'clock, we will be debuting the Hockey Writers Inc. show with special guest Joe Boric. And Lauren, we talk exactly about doing that with the Flyers. We scrap ownership all the way down. Coaching staff, new scouting department, new Drew, and be like, hey, man, look, appreciate it, but would you please waive your no trade clause and this is what we're going to try and do and try to get something for you. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go somewhere to be a contender, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. This is what we got to do. Because the fact that Giroux didn't want to continue discussions during the summer, he cut them off. He obviously wasn't hearing what he wanted to hear. But like I said, tune into the Hockey Writers Inc. tonight and check that out, man, because we go really in depth about what's going on with the Flyers.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to lose it here. We just started losing.
I see it's back, though.
It's okay, because everybody left now, and they're going to come back. Okay, so...
Okay.
So anyways, here's some of the things that Mike Keenan would do. And this would be like right when he was hired. Oh, by the way, Messier, remember Mark Messier?
Oh, yeah.
Mark Messier.
Oh, yeah.
You know Mark Messier. Of course you know Mark Messier. Mark Messier.
Well, yeah.
At the time, they had one of my favorites, Roger Nielsen. He's a great hockey mind.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. What a great coach he was.
But he wasn't. Okay, this is what happened. Or I can't remember if it was Nielsen or Smith, but I'm pretty sure it was Nielsen. Messier, they were going to sign Messier. Okay? So Messier and the ownership at the time, and the ownership at the time, worked out a deal. He signed it, and it's no crap. As soon as he put the pen down on the paper, after he signed the deal, he said, first thing, you have to get rid of this coach. We're not going to win with him. If you can believe that. And the owner, I remember saying, because this was all part of like a big, long thing that I watched. It was like a documentary. And that's how I knew about what Mike Keenan and all that stuff like that. And the owner was like, oh my gosh, Roger is like a really good friend of mine. They didn't even hire him that long ago. What am I going to do here? And they ended up letting him go. Do you know that they also picked the guy that Messier said should do it? And that guy was Mike Keenan. Messier picked Mike Keenan to be the coach for the team. Now, this is one of the greatest leaders of all time, knew about Mike Keenan and what he was like and all of those sort of things like that. And he picked Mike Keenan to be the coach of that team, and they went with it. And so what Mike Keenan did, he first came in, they play table tennis and stuff like that. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, yeah.
He came in, he didn't even talk to anybody yet. He didn't even have his first dressing room meeting where he talks to everybody and all that kind of stuff like that. and he told them to get rid of it. And he did a whole bunch of stuff like that.
I remember that.
I remember that. I remember when he came in and did that.
He went in and he did that. And so this is when he started talking about all of these things. And he goes, I didn't think about these things. I just do it to basically create a reaction. He wanted to find out what he had for teammates. And the only way you're going to find out what you have is if you piss them off. That's basically what he said. If you the way they react to things that you do are going to tell you what you have in your room.
That's true.
And that's what he would do. True. He would create adversity to find out what he had in his room, and then he would go from there. All of this to go back to Tippett. Yeah. It's possible he did that for that reason. He wants to know, look, okay, I benched Samorukov for the whole time because of whatever they get. Now, he goes up in his office the next day. He sees that everybody's uncomfortable about it. Does any of them come up into his office and get mad about it? Or do they just sit there and gripe? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, so what do you think's going on? I mean, do you think that they're going up there and griping, or do you think, I mean, we're obviously going to have to find out here with their next game, depending on how much ice time he gets and how things go and, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they're not playing again until... Well, that game got postponed too.
They don't play for a while now, so this is going to give them lots of time to think about this road trip.
The 10th, they play Monday the 10th. They play Monday the 10th as their next game.
If I was a coach and I did that, and I was like, people will call this playing games, and they just to say that with Mike Keenan. If I was a coach and I did that, and I benched Samorukov and all that kind of stuff like that. Eventually, if nobody came up to the office to talk to me or whatever, was man enough to do it, in the dressing room after a while, I'd be like, I would really like to know why none of them came up and were mad about what I did to Sammy. Not one person came up to my room, like, seriously? Like, I would start calling him out on it. This is why the reason why I benched him is I wanted to see if you guys were going to stick up for him, and nobody did. Not one person came up and stuck up for him here. And that's the problem in our frickin' room. We're not sticking up for each other.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I get it.
It's possible he did that to see if these guys are going to start playing for each other. Because one thing the Edmonton Oilers aren't doing, and the Philadelphia Flyers as well, and you can see this in just about every team that is doing poorly usually, is they don't stick up for each other.
That's a great observation, because they all talk the big game. They all talk and say that they are, but really they're not. And, what's really horrible is watching these guys just kind of lackadaisically just, phone it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, I've watched a lot of hockey. I'm not quite on your level yet, Pearlo. I haven't watched a divorce-worthy level of hockey yet this season, but I'm getting pretty darn close. And I'm here to tell you, even teams like Buffalo still have energy, still have jump, still have want-to. Teams like even Arizona still have jump, still have game, still have want-to.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking about the bottom of the barrel. Even Ottawa has jump and want to, and they set up on the power play and they have shots on goal, and it's like I watch all these teams that are not even at 500, and then I look at the Flyers and I go, gosh, man, what are you guys doing? This isn't hockey. What the frick is going on here, right? And then you look at teams like Edmonton, where and you just kind of scratch your head. You kind of did the same thing last year with Colorado, a little bit kind of this year too with Colorado, where they kind of had that little bender there where they were like, wait a minute, what the heck, what happened to Colorado? You know what I mean? So ebbs and flows. We'll see how they do. I'm interested to see if Edmonton can claw their way out of it. If they can, then I think they will be the better team for it. If they continue to just falter and sink, then that's kind of what you're
Right.
dealing with. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel the same way with the Flyers. I think the Flyers just need a match. Seriously, man. They just need to start from scratch and build
I
from the ground
personally
up.
think, and I know you don't agree, but I think without a doubt, nobody needs Tortorella more than the Philadelphia Flyers right now. Nobody. You want to see Tortorella will come in there and put a freaking fire.
If they want to try to win now.
Well, just put a fire under their butt no matter what you do. Like, get something going. It doesn't matter, win now, win later, whatever. Like, seriously, that team has no desire whatsoever.
But I don't think it's going to come from a coach.
I think a coach can do it, just like we did before. I do think you need some guys to go in there and tell people what they need to hear in a way that's going to tick them off. And if they don't like it, then they're out. Like, you know what? Look what Calgary did with Sutter, right? He came in for half a season and said, okay, this is what we're expecting. If you don't want, you're out. And they let a couple guys go and then decided what they were going to do from there. But he was a very experienced guy who had been doing it for a long time, and they trusted his judge of character, of players and stuff like that. So that's why I think that Tortorella would be an excellent fit there, where he's going to just flat out. Tortorella doesn't pull any punches. He says exactly what he thinks, and that is it. And that's what they need right now. And I don't think Yo's it. I don't think the organization is it. You know as well as I do the crap that they say. How many excuses after excuses after excuses? The whole organization is full of excuses. Do you know that Barry Trotz has a thing? Every team he's ever played has a huge sign in behind where he talks to his players that says no excuses.
Yes, you have informed me of that on a few different occasions, my
what's
friend.
the most successful coach of the past how many years? Probably Barry Trotz, right? So Philadelphia Flyers, just call yourself the No Excuses. Let's change the name to the Philadelphia No Excuses. How's that? Because that's the problem I see with the Philadelphia Flyers, is they're nothing but excuses. Excuses.
Exactly. You get no arguments from me here, man. What?
That's
no arguments from me.
Philosophical problem with that organization.
All the way through and through. It's all the way through and through. They allowed that to happen with AV, and they're allowing it to happen now, and they're going to continue to allow it to happen because there isn't that passionate owner there anymore now since Mr. Snyder passed, sadly.
Anyways, we have Bill was talking about Anaheim and how well they're doing over there in Anaheim. And we can
oh my gosh, love what they're doing there in Anaheim. Wow.
This is a guy that I've been backing for a long time, and I got a lot of flack for it. Their coach, Dallas Eakins, I liked him in Edmonton. I thought it was stupid when they fired him. I really thought it was one of the worst things they ever did was fire Dallas Eakins. After they fired Dallas Eakins, I was like, if you don't want Dallas Eakins, who do you want? Really, like, he's a absolutely fantastic communicator. I'm saying he's up there in the Brindamore type levels. He's that good. He's really, really good. And he's getting the best of these kids. And the second thing, I believe, Bill, is this Zegras kid. This Zegras kid brings in energy to a team that, right?
Oh man. Ever since I saw him play in the World Juniors, okay, I was like, man, whoever gets this kid's gonna be like, all right. And then Anaheim got him, and I was like, all right. And Boy, is he as advertised. Let's just put it to you like this. Now, he was on COVID and he didn't get to play the game there against the Flyers. I don't know if he's off the COVID list or not, but very much impressed with this very young player. He was one of our prospect watches on one of the shows that we did for Off the Wall Hockey. Just an amazing, amazing player. Got to watch him play in World Juniors. Got to watch him just explode there, and then now, gosh, man, we really felt that Anaheim could potentially be on the cusp. I think they're surprised themselves. I don't think they realized that they would be this good. Okay, to be honest with you. And I think LA kind of is in the same boat, where I don't think they realized that they were going to be quite as good as they are.
I think LA thought they were. I personally myself.
Okay.
I think Dallas Eakins believed that they were going to be as good as they are.
See, now that's the case. You know what I mean? And it's not just Zegras, too. There's quite a plethora of young drafted talent in Anaheim that's waiting in the wings or has already started or whatever, right? I mean, Anaheim is stacked, pretty to be honest with you, if you must know the truth.
Yeah, pretty good young talent there for sure. All starting to get to their peak now, right? For sure, no doubt about it. I just think that Dallas Eakins, Zegras, was the just that mix that you put in the drink. You know what I mean? Like Dallas Eakins was teaching belief and in yourself. That's his big thing: belief in yourself and conditioning. There is no, just like Roddy Brind'Amour, Rod the Bod, right?
Oh my gosh!
Dallas Eakins is as much, if not more so. Apparently, nobody works out more on the team than Dallas Eakins does. So his conditioning and he gets to actually, it's like, let's say you're Bruce Boudreau, okay? Bruce Boudreau preaching conditioning doesn't really have the same effect as say a guy like Brind'Amour.
Probably not. Sorry, not.
Bruce.
Yeah.
I know
Bruce is a rather rotund man.
Yeah, I know you're listening.
He probably doesn't get a lot of cardio going.
No.
Yeah, right. Okay.
When he first stepped on the ice in Vancouver, he looked like he was 5 again, all over again. He hadn't touched the ice with skates since. But anyways, when you want to talk about, so he demands high conditioning, not demands, he expresses high conditioning to his players, and he's an example of it, right? But he also is a big thing on belief. You hear the word all the time. If you don't believe in yourself, it don't matter how much talent you have, we're not going anywhere. That's his whole thing. And this guy Zegras, I don't even think he understands the word unbelief. Like, he doesn't. He is like a living, genuine belief, period, for everything he does.
Just skating belief. He's just a skating belief.
He believes in himself and his teammates with a almost like childlike belief.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word.
It's great. It's refreshing. It's quite refreshing to see such a youthful exuberance for the game that you love, that you're getting paid for, that you're blessed and lucky enough to be able to play professionally. See, that's the other thing too. Sometimes you have to kind of realize that these guys need to understand that they have an opportunity to play this game and get paid for it. And that opportunity doesn't last very long. So take advantage of it while you can.
Right. Okay. Bill has another question. Do you think is there any way they would fire Barry Trotz? And What's wrong with the Islanders, I think, is kind of also what he's saying.
Oh wow. I don't know. I they never picked up his contract in Washington, and I think it was because he wanted too much money or whatever the case was. I don't understand why that never came to fruition. What I don't understand is why doesn't he seem to be able to get the Islanders to get to where the Capitals were?
Right.
Like he has won the cup, but he's also one of those guys too where he's won a lot of games in the regular season, and then when it comes to the playoffs, it's like, what happens? You know what I mean? He hasn't been able to win a lot of playoff games. He has really great regular seasons. You know, how many regular seasons did he play or did he have with the Capitals where, and they were right up there with President's Trophy, right? And then they get blown out in the first round. Right? How many times did we see that? How many? You know, too many. You know what I mean? For him to finally get it in one time, and then he hasn't been able to do anything since with another team. I'm not saying he's not a bad coach, but that's kind of what I'm looking at here. They've had some issues in New York as well, where they didn't get to play for the many home games. Now they're starting to play home games. Now they have won some games, but still they've been also dealing with some injuries as well too. But then again, here we are. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? What do you do? I don't. If he's still signed till the end of the year, I think he goes to the end of the year. Depending on, I mean, even if they like completely tank, I still think he goes to the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I personally, Lamoriello, when he was in New Jersey, and basically his whole history, which was mostly New Jersey, was pretty much New Jersey because he didn't do much in Toronto.
Right.
He had a penchant for. I think he fired a coach. You know, he fired some coaches, but he gave them a long look. Except for, I think it was Kirk Muller. It didn't work out very well, and he was gone pretty quick. But I think that was kind of mutual. I just think Muller decided, and that I think Muller just decided that head coaching wasn't for him, and he's been an assistant coach ever since. So,
right.
He seems like a guy like Jacques Lemaire was there for how long? I mean, he was there for a really long time, and a lot of people wanted him out long before he did, but his record stood for itself. He seems to stick with guys a lot. I would say that he's going to keep on sticking with Barry and stick it through. I don't think that the first time the Islanders don't have a great season, especially since this was no excuses, right? And I'm sure Barry
no excuses.
Wouldn't say anything like this, but as a general manager, you will take into account, although you may not vocalize it. Honestly, it's really, to me, Lamoriello's place here to get more depth on this team. They've been riding those guys so long so far.
Okay.
They haven't had replacements to bring in the roster for so long. I think they're just getting it's been a long stretch, and then you had a short season of summer, and now back at her again, and then you have the 13, 15 game road trip or whatever. And these players are only human. And I know Barry Trotz would never say anything like that or whatever the case may be, but I'm almost positive that he'll definitely be around next year. And I'm almost positive you'll see a different Islanders team next year. I'd love to see what Lindstrom would look like as a head coach.
I think so too.
Yeah, you think so too?
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, no, I think they are. But I still think it's going to be Barry Trotz, though. Do you know what I mean? It all depends, though. It really all depends. If they continue to go downhill, then maybe not so much. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, if it absolutely craps the bed so hard that
That's what I mean. Yeah.
maybe, but it's gonna have to. I don't see it happening. It's not like we're.
Yeah, it's gonna
It's
have
not
to be
like we're watching an Islanders team that's not competing. It's
right.
just they're making poor mistakes. They're not playing their game the way they're supposed to, and I think it's just because they're tough. I think they're freaking tired, and they're still playing hard. But
Yeah.
I really think that nobody wants to admit it there, but like they haven't had replacement players for a long time. There's not much depth on the island, and
Right.
Trotz pushes his players hard, like any coach does, and eventually you're going to pooch out. Let's see what Lidstrom would be like as a head coach. There's something. The coaching is a specific. Like you can have the greatest hot mind in hockey, but maybe never be a coach. You know.
It just seems like this was not the coach, though. It just
no.
It's sad. It's sad. I mean, he's the great one.
Yeah, he admitted it himself. He said coaching was not for me. I was not meant for that.
Exactly, and he doesn't have the personality for it.
I guess not.
You know what I mean? I just don't think he does. He just doesn't come across as that type of a guy.
He apparently didn't, because he didn't do a very good job. and he admitted it too. He said.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. I'm just saying he just doesn't come across as that kind of a guy. Do you know what I mean? Like he seems more of an owner type guy.
Yeah.
Where he'll come up to you and be like, "Hey, man, you had a really good game tonight. Appreciate that." He'll buy you a scotch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's just kind of how I picture Gretzky.
It's funny you mentioned that, because he said he wouldn't be that. It's not. He could be that, but if he wasn't going to be involved somehow, like down on the ice, he didn't want to do it.
Right. So I mean, that's kind of how I see him, but I that's not how he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he seemed to think he was. I mean, he went out and got that Tylenol commercial, and he poured a lot of money into the Arizona franchise to go do what he did.
True.
And but it didn't work out, and that's fine. I know what he is good at. I love him on TNT. I freaking love him.
I'll say.
Oh my gosh, is that awesome? Oh.
I think that was like, I can't believe it took that long for him to finally, you know what I mean? To finally get to that point where he could be on TV to be that guy now. I mean, look at what Charles Barkley has turned it into.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that Wayne Gretzky could very easily fulfill that role and be that guy for hockey.
Oh, he's way better than I thought he was going to be. And I loved him. I've sat down, like I told you, I've talked to him and stuff like that. Did I tell you that? I've had a beer with him and stuff like that.
Yes, sir, you have. Yes, sir, you have.
But you got to understand with Wayne Gretzky is he was a terrible public speaker at one time, like absolutely horrible. He's had to really work on it to become a good public speaker. And I am just blown away at what he has doing there on TNT. I knew he had a great sense of humor and everything, but it's coming out like he actually makes me belly laugh almost every time you show him on TNT. Doesn't he for you as well?
I have to agree, man. I really like that one segment that they were doing there where they were shooting the puck onto Kevin Weeks, right? They made Kevin Weeks be the goalie, and he was barely able to wear any of the, or not Kevin Weeks, Charles Barkley, and he was barely able to wear any of the equipment that for the goalie, right? And there's Gretzky, right? He's deaking and doing head fakes on him, right? I mean, come on.
yeah, that's funny.
I was like,
I didn't see that one, but yeah, that sounds like about it. So.
I mean, he's still so competitive and still so, you know what I mean? But I agree. I think that was the best thing that they could have done, was bring him out to be the face of the NHL, which is what I always thought he should have
Him
been.
and Biz Nasty, and he's always chirping everybody and stuff like that. It is really great. I love it. Excellent, excellent, excellent job TNT did picking him up. Guy's going to be a legend there on now as a broadcaster as well. So now we got the
exactly.
Yeah, now we got the next thing here, Bill. Again, coming up with some great topics. What happens with Tuukka Rask? He's down there.
I saw that he got signed there by the Providence Bruins for, I guess it's his. So he was on waivers or something, or he wasn't part of the team, and he was brought in for a tryout contract to do, I guess, a minor league conditioning stint.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you know, if he's able to come back and play, hey, man, more power to him. But we've seen guys like Martin Brodeur play late into their 30s. We've seen guys like, we've seen guys play late into their 30s and be successful. Do you know what I'm saying? We've also seen the exact opposite, where guys try to keep playing and they're just not. I mean, look, how old is Fleury? Fleury is still between the pipes. You see what I'm saying? So,
yeah, you got a PTO, player trial, which is basically a way of just getting around the whole. It makes it easier that way. It's not like he's going anywhere, or anybody's going to. Nobody's going to cut Rask. It's just so he has a contract set up as a PTO. It doesn't go. So it doesn't really go against the cap, I believe. So they don't have to add anything to the cap right now and all that stuff.
Well, no, it's a tryout contract with the Providence Bruins, not the.
Right. So it doesn't go against the cap and stuff like that. He said Rask said he didn't care. He was going to be a Bruin and he doesn't care about the contract or whatever they want him to do. They don't care. I'm going to be a Bruin and that's it. So if that means a third string goaltender or a goalie coach or whatever they want me to do, that's what I want to do. So, and that's what they're doing. He's letting them do whatever they want with this contract or wherever they want him to go. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to do. Like he's a true blue Bruin. And the thing is with Tuukka is the fans have really sometimes not treated him all that great there in Boston. And
True.
He's a character. And then when he did what he did with his family there in the middle of the playoffs, he took some flack for that, which I thought was crazy. You really think that a guy is going to leave in the playoffs unless there's something serious going on, man? Come on.
Right.
Like, just give the guy some... like, what's the percentage of chance that Tuukka Rask said, I'm tired, I'm just going to go home? Come on.
Well, he did at one point, but that was, I think, partially due to the pandemic and him wanting to just be home with family. Where he opted to not go to the bubble or got in late.
I think his daughter, there was some serious stuff, and I don't know, it's personal stuff, nothing to
that's what I mean.
Me. I don't know, but I do know that I'm gonna bet that it was something extremely serious, and people should just leave it alone. But Boston's like, oh yeah, Lauren's got a really good point here too. Is now they, those goaltenders that they have, we're gonna put the fire under your butt, and so far Allmark really hasn't hit it out of the park. We'll find out what Swayman does tonight because we're gonna get into the games tonight here right away. We'll find out what Swayman does tonight.
Of those two, I've liked. They really haven't been all that great, either one of them. But of the two, I would probably say I'd probably lean more Swayman.
Yeah, I would too, but he's so young.
That's what I mean.
But he flashed so much towards the end of last year. And when they went into the playoffs, he played really well. You know what I mean? So I kind of would give him the benefit of the doubt, but I think exactly I like what you talked about too, because knowing now that Tuukka Rask is in the back burner waiting, that might light the fire under those guys, and that's exactly what I think they need. Do you know what I mean? To give them that little bit of, looking over your shoulder kind of thing. Because when you're looking over your shoulder, you're a little bit more up in your skates. You're a little bit more on your game. You're trying a little harder. You're, gripping the stick a little tighter. You're eating that extra spoonful of soup so you get that little bit of extra energy. And you know what I'm saying?
Well, it does bring more pressure under them to know that if you're not going to be, if you're not going to be good enough, there's this guy here called Tuukka Rask who's got a couple cups. Hall of
By
Fame
the way,
that's pretty much what Lauren is saying. Like no more excuses now. No more. The time is now. Now that's way I think Swayman is better. But Bill also was wondering if they would send Swayman down and they've got options, right?
It depends on what they can do, Bill. I don't know what their situation is. If Swayman has a 2-way contract, then they can send him down, but that would be the only way unless he clears waivers, I think. Right? Because unless you have a 2-way contract, you just can't be. And I don't know what the situation is with Swayman, if he has a 2-way contract or not. I don't think Ullman does either, or maybe they both do. If they both do, then yeah, Tuukka Rask can come in and you can send one of them down, and it's all good.
Swayman could be. It probably is on a 2-way, actually. Yeah, Swayman's on a 2-way.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, he is.
Okay,
well then.
No way, Ullmark
is not. But the problem is that Swayman is the better goalie, I think. So then, in order to send Ullmark down, he'd have to clear waivers.
Yeah, and they're not going to lose him for nothing.
And that's just it. If they have to put him up for waivers, if they bring Tuukka Rask in, you see what I mean? That's kind of where. I mean, that's a great question, Bill. But I would still go with Swayman. If I had to choose between Ullmark and Swayman, I would go Swayman.
Yeah, well, but you just brought up the problem there, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to trade Ullmark. I think what's going to happen is, I personally, this is what I think is going to happen, and he specifically asked you, but I think they're going to bring Rask up, and they're going to ride with 3 goaltenders, and they'll take care of it at the end of the season. And the guy that Rask is going to be there to help those guys become the best that they can be. He's going to get some games in, and if he starts crushing it, one of them are. Maybe then Swayman does go down for a bit every once in a while. It's a very difficult thing, but it's not a terrible problem to have. That's for sure.
I agree, but see, here's the other thing too. If the NHL is going to expand the taxi squads for the rest of the season, then it makes sense to do the 3 goalie package, because then you can put Swayman or Ullman or one of them on the taxi squad, right? And it would be easier to put Swayman on the taxi squad. I think you still have to clear waivers with Ullman if he goes on the taxi squad. I'm not sure. But you can bring Tuukka Rask up or have Tuukka Rask be on the taxi squad. Do you see what I'm saying? And then ride with Ullman and Swayman and see how it goes. And then rotate those guys out, because you have the taxi squad at least until the break, until the All-Star break, right? So, and if that's all going to depend on if the NHL decides to extend it. If they extend the taxi squads, Then I say, yeah, you bring Tuukka Rask up, put him on the taxi squad, and then rotate all three of them. If not, then you got to make a decision on one of them.
Yeah, first you got to have a contract. Like he doesn't have a contract yet to go to the taxi squad. So first they're going to have to get him a contract. And what I think they do is they may sign Rask because Rask has said, "I'll sign any contract." They may sign Rask.
So there you go. Okay. So if they do that, then that kind of helps them out where they don't have to necessarily clear waivers for Rask because they weren't going to anyway because he was going to be on a tryout contract anyhow.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So they could.
Actually,
whatever I don't know, man. We'd have to
even on a two-way contract with him, you'd still have to clear waivers.
Clear waivers.
So it depends on your age and all kinds of stuff like that. I'd have to look that up.
See, that's the other thing too. Can you sign a two-way contract at his age?
I think you can sign it, but I don't think there's a certain age where you get to where you still got to go through waivers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, he would definitely be past that age, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when it comes to that, he's definitely an old man, though. And when it comes to that, for sure.
Right.
So, but I don't know, man. It's not a horrible problem to have, but if given what's going on, I would probably still try to go with Swayman and Rask if that's what I had to do.
Well, I mean, those would be the two better goaltenders, but to use. The other thing is that we don't talk about here is that you don't want Swayman sitting. You know, he's a young guy that's supposed to be getting better, right? So if you go with Swayman and Rask, now he's the backup, or are they going to play 50-50, or what? You know what I mean? So I would imagine they would have to.
Oh, I don't think they would have him. I don't think they would have Rask taking all these games now with him being you know what I mean?
He gets on a real Rask. He gets on a run. But I probably,
okay, but
it would be very unlikely that Rask is going to be knocking it out of the park right away, too. So, but he's that good that you just never know. You just never know with a guy with. I think Rask is a superstar myself. I do. I think he's been so underrated for what he's done for that Boston Bruins franchise in his career.
You have to. Yeah, I have to agree with you because they really haven't had the best defenses. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but I have to agree with you, man, 100%. I really do. I have to agree with you 100% on that. I'm with you all day on Rask. I have always felt that he's been one of the top tier goalies of the last couple of years here, whatever the case is. So yeah, I got no problems with Tuukka Rask being considered that, or even mentioning him as a quote unquote first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
the number of games.
You know me, I'm terrible at the first ballot thing. I give it away to everybody, but
I know, but
no, yeah, I think he has to be a first ballot. I personally think so, but I've heard otherwise. It's debatable to some people. Do you think Fleury will be in Chicago next year? My answer, I'll let you go.
I think he'll be retired.
Really?
I think this is the last roundup for him.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Because he's not. I don't think he's going to go anywhere at the trade deadline. Frankly. You know what I mean? He hasn't really.
Think so? Oh wow. Difference of opinion.
I think he's going to retire. What has he got to prove anymore?
I don't think the fire leaves to guys like Fleury. As long as they love to play, they're going to do that.
I agree, but whether the fire leaves or not is more along the lines of can you still do it?
I believe so.
All right. Well, maybe not as many.
All right. Well, maybe not as many games. Maybe more of the backup role than the
No, I
starter.
think he's that good. I think he can. I think he can take a team to
Okay.
I think he can take a team to a cup. See, you don't have the opportunity to watch a lot of Chicago games this year. He's been.
No, I don't.
No,
he's
I
been
don't.
anything but the problem there in Chicago. He's been.
Really?
There's been games when
Really?
he's just been standing on his freaking head, but they can't seem to get. Chicago is all the crap that's happened in Chicago this year.
No, trust me. I get it. And I'm not immune to it. It's just that I haven't been able to watch a lot of the games. I've been watching games like Colorado, Florida, Tampa Bay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Minnesota, St.
Of
Louis.
course, why would you watch
trying to watch
Chicago?
those
They
games.
get
Yeah.
blown out 4-5-1, right? But
No, but see, it doesn't. I try to watch games just so I can get a handle on a team. I try to watch games to see what kind of a team that they're gonna be or how they're playing or whatever the case is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's fine. I've said all along that I still think if they can't. Jari's playing so well. I really thought this was all set up for him to go to Pittsburgh later, anyways. I really thought that's what it was. Vegas couldn't have him, so Chicago saw an opportunity to get a draft pick at the deadline. They knew that they probably weren't going to be this good this year, so they picked him up for nothing, just basically his cap for him. And they knew at the deadline they'd be trading him, and I think the whole deal was for him to go back to Pittsburgh. I really do. If he
you think he's still working his way east?
Yeah, I do believe. I think that's what this has all been about. And they just talked to him and said, we tried, but your contract won't work in Pittsburgh right now. Wait till halfway through the season when your cap is, because it's already been paid out. Chicago can retain a little bit. You can go to Pittsburgh and try to win a cup or two as you finish off your career.
So that means you think then that Pittsburgh is on the verge or in the next 2 years going to be contending for the cup?
Well, I mean, with a guy like Fleury in there, I think they could. I mean, look at Pittsburgh's. That system is insane. When Sullivan's got to get Coach of the Year here soon. I mean, he's put a system in there that is like, Carolina might be the only team I can think that comes close. Tampa Bay, I don't think has more to do with in Tampa Bay. They have a good system there as well, but I think it's more to do with talent than it is system.
But Carolina is more about system than talent,
and they got down good talent there too. But
they
have some really good talent there as well. But Pittsburgh, they do it no matter who's in the lineup, man. Like, everybody knows exactly what they do in every situation, at every point. They are an unbelievable systematic team to watch, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And if you've got a guy...
I was watching some of the game last night against St. Louis. I was watching that game.
Isn't it amazing? They just they chew you apart eventually. They find the weakness. They as a team systematically do different things that you need to do to get that weakness, to expose that weakness on the other team.
Exactly.
Better than any
team
in the league. Any team. Maybe Carolina's getting to that point where I could put them up there too. But Pittsburgh has been doing it for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like Carolina's got to do it a little longer before I'll put them in that category. Right now, to me, there's no team in the league besides them. And Tampa Bay's won the last 2 cups. But if you gave Pittsburgh Tampa Bay's talent, and I don't know how many cups they would win. How many times has Pittsburgh had their whole team injured and they still keep on winning over and over and over and over? So you put a guy like Fleury in there that can stop pucks like that. Who knows? So,
I mean,
I mean, Jari's not doing too bad right now, all things considered. Now, I know that DeSmith has been chased out a few times, but I know that Jari hasn't done too bad. They've won 9 games in a row now. I mean, come on.
And
They're
now,
doing something right
and
there
now
on the
they got
western side
everybody
of the
back. They
Keystone
had a whole
State.
bunch of COVIDs and
Exactly. And I even saw too that Malkin is skating with the contact jersey off, or the no contact jerseys off, and all that other. So I mean, that's even gonna be bode well for them as well too,
Pittsburgh
getting
for
him
the
back.
cup. I mean, if you get Fleury in there, you just nothing.
Well, that would be like reuniting the old guard,
Bring all
and
that energy and everything.
yeah, that's just what Pittsburgh needs. That's just what they need, man. Why don't you? What they should just do it now. They should just trade for Fleury now, so they can just do it and get it over with, and so he can get comfortable and just have him. They just start having them win right
I don't think
throughout
it's
the
going to happen
division.
until the deadline because of cap purposes. But
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence's Nashville should go after Fleury. I don't know. I think Salah. I think he's doing pretty darn good there. I personally think that if for me, Washington Capitals. If the Washington Capitals
Going
if
after
the
Fleury?
Washington Capitals had Fleury, that team would be freaking scary. Samsonov is the weak link on that team right now. Goaltending is a weak link on that team. Imagine what that team would be with a guy like with what Laviolette is doing in that room. And that team right now, that heavy Washington team, beating the crap out of people. And then by the time you do get to the net, you've got...
Because Fleury wouldn't see many
by
shots.
the time you do get to the net, now after huffing and puffing, you got to get enough steam on your stick
and you're all beat up.
Fleury. Oh my gosh, that would
Yeah.
be something. That's what I would say. The Washington Capitals.
So well, at least we see where you're going with that.
I've been saying that a while. Like I would have did in the beginning of the year. It was like, well, they didn't have any cap space. It was like, fine, get rid of somebody, do something. You're not going to win with Samsonov. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're not.
Yeah, probably not.
Woo,
Yeah, probably
Jay
not.
Pinso
But
Okay, let's look at the games. We got 20
all right.
minutes. We're probably not going to get through all the games, but okay.
Well, there are a couple of them that have been postponed.
Let's
so
do it as quick as we can. We talked a lot about the Bruins already. The Wild have 2 rookies in the lineup that today, Boldy and Rossi, which will be fun to watch. But that is at the expense of some really good players not being in the lineup for the Wild. And the Bruins are, rocking pretty good right now. I think they're kind of getting lucky getting some teams that are kind of banged up quite a bit, but they're still doing it. So and Swain
going to be a good test for them tonight.
Kakinen in for the Wild, and that I got to think the Bruins here, right?
Oh man, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good game, I think, because Minnesota has definitely been playing a much better game, and Boston hasn't been quite so much. So, man.
Minnesota.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, John. I got to go with Minnesota.
That's going to be a big win for them because they kind of struggled going into the break a little bit. Spurgeon is out. So you think that Dean Evison, I mean, yeah, he's quite the motivator here.
He's my vote for coach of the year.
Minnesota makes the playoffs. Yeah, I'm starting to get an error there in Minnesota that they're not worried about making the playoffs this year.
We'll see.
Like as in the manager sense, I don't think you're going to see additions here. I don't think you're going to see them adding more people. Greenway and who is the other one? It was a very good. Oh yeah, Eriksson Ek. That's a big loss.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So those guys are out tonight. I got to go with Boston. So we'll see. You guys tell us in the comments.
It's in Boston.
And
It's in Boston,
it's
so
in
we'll
Boston
see.
too. So
Right.
all right.
Right.
Just have that feeling.
Just have that feeling. I just do.
I don't know why.
I don't know why. I just have that feeling. I have been kind of riding the Minnesota wave here now for a little while, and I just feel like they're due.
Okay. I think Pasta has been heating up. I like the way that Cassidy has put the lines now. They broke up the big line, and I think that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Smith
Agreed.
up there with Bergeron and Marchand, and then Pasternak with what's his name in the middle there. Not really a second line center, but he's evened out the lines quite a bit. And Hall, who's been whatever. And then so I like what they've done with the lines, and we got to move on to the next game.
San Jose at Buffalo.
San Jose at Buffalo. I don't like San Jose's flow right now at all. They're putting Hill in, who hasn't played in a long time. He's been injured. And we were just talking about the compete of Buffalo. I think Buffalo takes this one.
I'm with you on that one as well, too. I like Buffalo's compete. I have a special bad juju with San Jose. So I can't ever pick them or do. It doesn't matter whatever happens if I pick them or whatever the case is. It never works out. So that's why I have to go with Buffalo.
All right. Yeah.
I can't ever pick San Jose for nothing.
San Jose's got a couple of players that are out too, and it's been a long road trip. They haven't did well on this road trip, and
yep.
I just don't see that changing here against a Buffalo team who maybe not have the talent, but they can San Jose can be outworked, and Buffalo will outwork any team that can be outworked, I think. So, all right.
Exactly.
Lightning
this next one, though. Man. All right. So, Calgary exploded out of the gates. Masterson, 5 shutouts. Still playing very well. Still like what Calgary's doing. Still like what they're putting together up there. Tampa Bay, come out of the gates, stumbled a little bit, but has since found the rhythm. Stamkos is playing well, and Kucherov might be back.
He will be back.
He will be back. So I don't care what anybody says. This is going to be a good game, but I think Tampa Bay got this all day. Vasilevsky and net. I don't care. I would like to see this matchup, though, Vasilevsky and Masterson. I want to see that. I want to see how that goes. It's probably going to be I'm assuming it's going to be a low-scoring game, but then again, who knows? But I got Tampa Bay on this all day.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay, too. Jay, we haven't been doing score predictions and stuff for a while now. We usually actually do we make videos during the stream and stuff like that. You got to come back. The Frolic is amazing. You'll love it. We haven't been doing.
There you go. We're having some fun today.
But I got Tampa Bay. What do you got, Jay? If you're looking for a score, I would say I think it's gonna be a high score. That's one thing I do think. I think this is over.
See, I don't.
I think it's going to be like 5-3 Tampa Bay. Wow. Markstrom hasn't looked good since the break.
Okay. All right. I can't. I just don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game. I think you're looking more like 3-2, 4-3, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we got Columbus at New Jersey.
And New Jersey, I like their flow, but they got like everybody in the land out of their lineup right now. It's freaking
out. Yeah. That's going to be a hurt piece. With everybody out, I guess you're going Columbus on this. Columbus hasn't played that horrible this year. Lately they have, but not nearly as wretched as last year. Can I say that?
Yeah, you know what? They've been playing poorly ever since Lion A came back.
That's true.
That's true. You know, this whole break. Do you know what I mean? Really kind of threw people for a loop here, I believe. And the fact that they're still kind of doing it, they're still kind of postponing games, they're still kind of rotating people in and out and around and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I still think they're still trying to get used to things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. But the problem
Right.
also with Columbus is they got Corpusalo is going to be in that, and he's just
Okay. And they're both 500. Well, New Jersey isn't quite 500, but so you're leaning Columbus then, eh?
no, I don't know. This smells like I don't know. Like New Jersey, I like New Jersey's energy better. I like Blackwood better.
Heischer's supposed to be back.
What's
I saw that Heischer's supposed to be back, and they are playing in
Heischer's
New
back?
Jersey.
Oh, who
Yeah.
said that? Where did you get that from?
Oh, I saw that it was on the scroll there on NHL Network earlier
Heischer's
today.
back.
Or maybe he's not
Yeah,
playing tonight, but I hear
he's
that.
back.
Okay, there you go. So there, breaking news right here on the Pearlo
Dougie
Wisdom Show.
Hamilton is out.
Heischer's back. Broken jaw. He's getting surgery for
Zacha
that.
and Sharon
I
Gage.
don't care. I can't pick Columbus.
I'm
I
gonna
have to go New Jersey. Yeah, I just can't pick Columbus. I just can't.
Corpusalo is terrible goalie.
Okay.
Like okay. Heischer's back.
Yeah.
Over. If anybody's out here, there's gonna be a lot
Yeah.
of scoring in this game.
I agree. All right. The next one is the battle of the Keystone State. And this is really probably not going to be a battle, really, of nothing. It's going to be the AHL team against the hottest team in the league right now.
Okay.
Basically is what's going to end up happening.
Oh,
Because Couturier is out
Yeah.
on IR. Ellis is out on IR. Then you got Konechny, Sealer, gosh, a whole bunch of other guys on COVID list, right? So you have pretty much the fill-in guys that's all coming into play. Cam York is up. Zumala is up. They're, you know what I mean? All the young guys are up playing because they're trying to fill in because Giroux's out. You know what I mean? On COVID. TK's out on COVID. You know what I mean? So this is going to be pretty much a ugly mop-up game here. Pittsburgh all bloody day on this. I bet you Crosby has less than 20 minutes of ice time in this game because he's not going to need to play that much time. I'm not looking for this game to be any kind of remote semblance of any kind of anything.
Pittsburgh's going to annihilate them.
Yeah, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
It's going to be horrible. So, all right, moving on to Florida, Dallas, and I don't think that's going to be much better either.
Florida, Dallas. Yeah, Dallas hasn't played in eons, and they're putting Holtby in net. Yeah, I think Florida wins that one all day.
Yeah, and I even though Florida has. They're one of the teams that I've been really keeping my eye on this year. I've been watching a lot more of their games and Carolina games too. I'm really liking what they're doing down there in Florida. Quinville getting fired didn't matter.
No.
Right?
No.
Did not matter one little bit.
Well, they had a little dip before the break, but Burnett looks like he's got those guys playing just as good as Quinville was doing.
Exactly, and they've got quite a plethora of young talent coming up through that they're starting to get integrated more into the lineup as well too. So, really like how Huberdeau has been playing down there. Really like how they've been playing down there in Florida. They did get Barkov back as well too, so that really helps. I got Florida on this one all day. I'm probably gonna lean Florida. Either Florida, Carolina as my picks for the Cup this year.
Well, Yeah, Tampa's going to be there again. Yeah.
I'm not denying that at all. I'm not denying that at all. It's going to be an all Southern, Southern Fried Cup run here. Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay. All the warm weather teams are going to be hoisting it this year.
Yeah, you know what?
Winnipeg and Colorado?
Winnipeg, Colorado, yeah. Colorado was out. DeMello was out on defense. They had a huge win, like huge win against Vegas. We were just talking about the Dallas.
Yeah.
This is Dallas's first game in a long time. Winnipeg off the break beat the Vegas Golden Knights 5-4, and I thought that was an extremely impressive win. And then,
I agree.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either. You know what else I didn't see coming either was the other night too. Nashville really took it to Vegas.
Nashville, well, I've been saying here on my live stream for a while, watch out for Nashville this year. They're my dark horse this year.
Okay.
They're my dark horse. They are playing. We were just talking about playing for each other. I don't know how much Nashville you've been able to watch, but
couple here and there.
Have you seen Duchesne, the new Duchesne in Nashville? He's got the goatee. He looks like, you know what it looks like to me? Because before this, Duchesne he's a country singer. You know, I don't know if you know that. He's pretty good too, actually. And it sounds like he was kind of getting into his music and having a good old time and stuff like that. And I swear to God, I think Hines went to him and said, "Are you a cowboy or a guitarist? Which one are you? Or are you going to be can you be a cowboy guitarist? Can you be a guy that plays guitar but gets out on the farm, gets dirty, and and works his ass off every day?" And he goes, "I want you to play the part." And I think he grew his hair kind of longish, grew a goatee, and he looks tough. Now, he took the persona of a tough guy, and he's out there. Cowboy. Do you know that, there's a couple guys, if you've noticed, that coaches have went to them and told them, "I want you to play with your teeth out from now on." Because all of us hockey players have this. Because there's an energy to having the gap in your teeth that you got from getting a puck. I want you to be that guy when you're on the ice. And I literally want you to be that guy when you get on the ice. Take your teeth out, get out on your ice, and play like a hockey player. Be like a hockey player. Why are you covering up your hockey player? You know, Drew Doughty doesn't cover up his hockey player anywhere. He wears it.
No, he does not.
And
neither does Burns. Burns wears it on his sleeve too.
And Doughty, does anybody play more like a hockey? I don't care what you say about Doughty. That guy is a hockey player on the ice. He hates the opposition so bad. Him and that thing that they got between him and Tkachuk is freaking gold. Matthew
agree.
And him, I love it. Anyways, we're going to the next game, right?
Okay, so I think we Winnipeg, Colorado. I think we have that one pegged. Yeah. Did we pick that one? Winnipeg and Colorado.
Good Lord. Colorado, yeah, we didn't talk about it because we were going on about Winnipeg and how they did. I'm scared about Winnipeg tonight because of what they've been doing. I like the way they're playing. I'm scared of them tonight. I really think I'm going to kick myself for taking Colorado, but that team is stacked, and they're
in Colorado.
Yeah. And Bednar will have them on the tape saying, if you think you're not going to outwork these guys tonight, you're going to lose. But I have a feeling about Winnipeg. I might have to change. I might have to
Okay.
change my thing. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So the next one is Chicago at Arizona.
I got Chicago just because Flurry.
Just because. Why
Arizona
not?
can't
Yep.
score very well, and
No.
they could even
No.
they could outshoot.
Try.
They could
They try.
shoot Chicago by a lot, and Flurry will stop everything.
Because Fleury is he does better when he gets more shots
and
anyway.
especially ones that aren't that great.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they don't have.
He doesn't
very
have
good
to worry about it
shooters
so
there,
much. So
I kind of got
No.
Chicago, but
yeah.
Arizona will win. I wouldn't.
I got
doubt
that all
Arizona
day.
Wins either, actually.
It wouldn't put it past me because they can sometimes put it together, and it is in Arizona, but I don't know. I just I got to go with the Blackhawks for this one here. So next game is the Rangers at Vegas.
Okay, what do you got?
I got Rangers on this, man. After I watched that game, Vegas played against Nashville, and I see the game that the Rangers are playing, and they're playing much better this year. They have really I really like what the Rangers are doing this year. So, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, they're third in the league with 48 points. I mean, good gravy. So I got Rangers all day on this, man. This isn't even. This was easy.
Yeah, Vegas has got.
I mean, I know that Vegas has guys coming back and has everybody back and all the other stuff, but man, I just think
everybody back. That's the thing. I don't think so. Where did you hear this? Did you hear this?
Is Strom back?
For
Strom's back.
New York, yeah.
Vegas.
Strom, I think you got the wrong guy there. Stone.
Okay, sorry. Stone.
Okay.
Sorry. Stone.
I heard
is
he
Stone
might be
back for Vegas?
But he's not. So yeah, without
he's not.
Stone,
all right.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I was saying his name wrong.
Yeah.
It was Stone. Sorry.
I like the Rangers too. I like the Rangers.
Yeah, I like the Rangers on this one too.
Shesterkin is just stupid.
Yeah.
By the way, all of you guys, I did some shorts today. Whoever's in here, go check them out. They're pretty cool. And make sure and please comment on them. I did one on Tippett, but I also did one yesterday. I got a trade that I got a couple comments on, but I'd like to know more.
Yeah, man. Check out the Pearlo stuff.
Trade, okay. It probably would never happen. But since we're talking about the Rangers, somebody said, would you trade Shesterkin and Miller to the Edmonton Oilers for Draisaitl and Yamamoto? And I said if I was Edmonton, I would do that in a heartbeat. And I love Draisaitl. Yes.
Really?
Shesterkin?
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. The New York Rangers would not make that trade. No way.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, what are you going to do without a goaltender? I mean,
it doesn't matter how many goals you can score if you can't have a guy back there stopping it. Doesn't matter.
You got to, especially when you've got a goaltender. Everybody says, well, you can always find a goaltender. Goaltenders are easier to find. They are.
No, they're not.
Vasilevsky's. These guys are not easy to find. Okay, if you've got
exactly
one of them,
those guys are not easy to find.
Those guys go. Period. No way.
Exactly. Period. Those are franchise goaltenders.
They can win
you don't
with average teams.
Exactly.
No way. Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyways.
Exactly. So all right. So Detroit at Anaheim.
We were just talking about the flow of Anaheim. They destroyed Philadelphia, but that doesn't mean much. That's sad to say, but it's true, right? Like you can't really say, well, they're doing really well now.
And they were without Zegras, and they didn't have their full complement of guys neither. Anaheim did, because they had some guys out on the COVID list as well too. So it's not like Anaheim was at full strength, and it didn't matter.
Yeah,
it just didn't matter, and I don't think it's going to matter here either. With Detroit being at Anaheim, I think Anaheim is Anaheim is going to turn into be my dark horse team this year. Yeah, because man, I'll tell you what. I really like what Troy Terry has done. I really like what Gibson's doing out there. I'm really liking what Anaheim has done. I'm really liking this Zegras kid. I got to watch him play in World Juniors. You know what I mean? And so, gosh, man, I just really like what Anaheim's been doing.
Yeah, I do too. I think I like Anaheim here as well. Gibson should be. Oh no, it's not Stolars, but Stolars is
Stolars has played
He
well since he's gone over
has. He
there.
really has. The only
Yeah,
apprehension I would have is Stoley hasn't played in a while, but he's been built to be
right.
a backup, so he's used to not
Yeah,
playing for a while and then coming. That's the big
playing.
thing about
Hmm.
being a backup. Like, yeah, I think Stoley is going to be a fantastic backup for the
Yeah, man.
for the
Stoley the
Ducks,
goalie.
and he's come a long way. He's worked his bag off to get to where he is. So
For sure,
yeah,
for sure.
I like them doing it for Stoley tonight. I think Detroit. I think you could see. I think I'd go overish on this game if it's a 5.5 because I
Yeah, because Detroit's on the come. They're trying. You know what I mean?
they
Like
got
they're
some shooters
yeah,
there and they play a high tempo pace.
yeah.
That they're always. These are two teams that play kind of the same way. I'd be more confident if
Yeah.
Zegras was in, Getzlaff is out. But I don't know. There's something with that Anaheim flow that they seem to have that. They're gaining that Pittsburgh model of it doesn't matter who's in, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. They're a plus 12 on the goal differential this year. You know what I mean? For Anaheim, they're 18, 11, and 7 with 43 points. So, I mean, I really like what Anaheim has been doing, and they continually to climb the ladder as they continue to win against teams that they weren't winning against last year, and now they're winning against this year. You know what I mean? So I'm all day on Anaheim on this one over
I,
Detroit.
um, I give Detroit a little credit, but yeah, I got to go with Anaheim as well. Is that all of them now?
Yeah. Nope. Last game is the Nashville Predators at the Los Angeles
Yeah.
Kings.
We were talking about the improved Kings team here. What do you got on this one?
Mhm. Nashville played last night, and then they're going to
Are
LA
they on a back to
tonight.
back too?
They were, yeah, they played Vegas
Oh
last
yeah.
night, and then now they're playing in Los Angeles. So, although I like what they're doing in Nashville, but I also like what's going on in LA. I think LA is going to be on this one for tonight.
Yeah, that's a tough. You know, the thing I think I fade this completely because it doesn't. Nashville seems to get over all of the stuff this year. You were talking about what's going on with Nashville. I don't think you can ever count Nashville out back to back, whatever it is that they play their
Okay.
bag. Like they are playing so hard. I don't know if they. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know if
no,
they
I
can
agree.
keep it up. One thing is though, Saros was in last night, so Rittich will probably be in tonight. He hasn't been. He's been pretty good. He's been really good actually. Let me
Right.
see if I can find if it actually is confirmed yet. I know that they're not going to play Saros back to back. Oh, this says it did. Did Jonathan Quick? I don't. This is very tough. I think it's going to be a tough, hard game. And like 2-3, 2-1, somebody, whatever. Almost that feels like a draw. But I'll take the home team and not like it. Yeah, what the heck? I
mean,
don't like that game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, I'm with you.
Nashville is. If there's any team right now that I'm not as worried about on a back to back, it's Nashville. It's
Okay. I mean, I do worry about
oh
those things. I know that Vegas is not that far from LA, but it's still
yeah.
a travel.
It's just they have
You know what
did
I
it
mean?
so often in those spots this year. It's more than almost any other team that they've been doing it in those back to back spots. I'd like to know what their back to back record is this year. But let me look up real quick. They are human. And I know they've been on the road a little
Ooh,
bit.
Nashville.
Who, Nashville? Yeah,
They've
yeah.
been on the road a little bit. So let me check what their my stream is running so slow because we got the Streamlabs going.
Okay.
Okay.
My gosh, my computer is running. That's what I mean to say, so slow. Nashville is okay. So they had Washington back to back to Columbus. Then they went to Chicago. They went home to Chicago. What a weird thing. They went home and played Chicago. They went home and played Chicago, and now they're back on the road again, and on a back-to-back today. Was that? Holy smokes! Would you hurry up already? Carolina, Chicago, Colorado. Okay, there we go. Nashville. Oh no, they're not on a back-to-back.
Oh, they're not.
No,
Oh, they're
played
not.
Vegas, and then they had a day off. Now they're in LA.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So that
going
was the other night
I'm
then.
taking
All right. So
Okay, then I would too.
okay, then I would too. Then okay, I would take Nashville too. Then I thought that they had played. I thought it was yesterday, but
And
it was
then they're
clearly
going to play
not.
Arizona
So
after that. So Riddich will play then. Saros will play tonight. I'm going to go Nashville.
okay. Yeah, I'd have to say Nashville as well too. I mean, like I said, I like what LA is doing, but Nashville's just a better team right now, and I think they're playing better. So yeah, I'm going with Nashville on that.
Princeland hates picking the Rangers. He said he's going with the Rangers. Sorry, mom and dad. But all right, well, we're past our time here, aren't we?
No way.
Yeah, well, I can hang out more if you can. I'm perfectly okay. I can't. Caroline is, being a nurse and the COVID stuff going on there. Like basically, when she messaged me, I go get her. That's how it is right now. She's working like crazy. So it's up to you.
Well, there you go, man. That's
going?
yeah, I have to gotta get rolling. I got a bunch of other things going on for tonight, but man, I really want to say a couple things here real quick. Pearlo, thank you very much for all you do. Okay. I know that with a lot of the schedule changes and things that have happened over the last couple of months, that I haven't been able to be on as much, and I haven't been able to be as involved as much as I would like to be. Okay. That doesn't mean that I still don't watch your shows, and that doesn't mean I still don't follow what's going on here, and I still don't know what's going on. So, but thank you very much for all you do. You are one of the main reasons why Steel Flyers All Sports Network is as good as it is because of all the work that you do on a daily basis and everything that you guys talk about and all the stuff that you do here on the show. Thank you all very much. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Pearlo. Very much appreciate that. If you guys aren't following Pearlo, you should be because he has all the frolic. You can catch me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks for coming out. I guess I'm gonna head out too. I got some other work I got to do here as well. It was fun, man, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everybody. That's my full 42 and Steels as well. Between the two of us, we just gave you 84. 84. You almost got 100%. Almost. Well, you got 100% because it is my full 42. It's 100% of 42%. Because that's all.
There you go. Dun, dun, dun.
If I had 100%, that'd be all for you, but I don't have it. Have a great day, everybody. Okay, bye.